Hi, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Heim
Heim
Time. What is up?
What's happening?
Well, we had a wonderful episode today.
We did a phenomenal episode with a super special guest that was brought to us by Tres Agaves.
Tres Agaves, tequila.
We forgot the tequila bottles today, so if you're watching this, just act like they're there. Delicious Tres Agaves tequila.
100% certified organic tequila.
Certified organic tequila. They have their own mixes, strawberry mix. They got the lime. They got all the stuff. And Añejo, Reposado, Blanco, I think.
Yeah.
Silver Blanco, whatever they call it. It's all delicious. That's actually my favorite. But Tres Agaves tequila, shout out. Thanks for sponsoring another great episode of Heim Time Podcast. Drink responsibly. Who was our special guest? We kind of kept this under wraps.
Drum roll. We did not tell anybody about this. Mayor Mattie Parker.
Whoa.
Dude, she is so cool.
Yeah.
I was like just chatting with an old friend.
Yeah.
She's wonderful and super easygoing, really cares about our city and what's going on and wanting the best for it. And that's exactly what Fort Worth needs. So
I couldn't agree more. We communicated through Twitter and she...
you slide into her DMs?
I think she DM'd me, actually. I'm pretty sure. You know, but I think it was actually Bethany, her assistant.
I like Bethany.
And Bethany was awesome. So yeah, Mayor Parker elected in June, I think, and but she's been worked with Mayor Price for about 5 years. Has been in politics. So there's all this. Oh, the youngest mayor, youngest this or that. I thought it was awesome. We really got to hear her perspective on things. And then two, just, you don't know how these people are. And so like we've talked to politicians and other stuff in the past, and it's like, you're like, okay, that's your, you know,
right.
That's the company line. I really felt like she was like 100% truthful.
Real.
This is what I care about. This is how I feel.
And like cares about people like us that have businesses and stuff in this city that she's overseeing. So anyway, can't say enough good stuff about her. She was wonderful, and we're just honored that she took the time to come out and meet with us and do our podcast in her extremely busy schedule. She literally has Bethany being like, okay, we're going here, doing this, and I'm like, this is awesome.
And took the time to be on our podcast for some reason.
To the small people. Shout out.
Really awesome. And then to Mayor Parker, Go Time with Mayor Parker, I think is what it's called.
Go Time Fort Worth.
Her own podcast that they're doing and talking to local people in the community, our friend Chauncey, some other people. So it's really good. So listen to that. Go Time with Mayor Mattie, at Mayor Mattie on Twitter. Awesome time. We really appreciate her coming in. We didn't realize we had met at a pool party years ago, which is kind of a funny side note.
Great pool party.
And that was an awesome time.
She was wonderful.
Yeah, very great. We really could not appreciate more. So I hope you enjoy this. This was a great podcast. If you want to support us directly, patreon.com/HeimTime Podcast. We have up to 26 Patreon patrons, I think. Patreon shout out this week, Jeb Machulik. Jeb, founder, creator of Tumbleweed Texas.
Oh yeah. Apparel.
I was going to say apparel, but they do mugs. They do other stuff.
Ooh. Branding.
Yeah, all sorts of awesome t-shirts and things.
Cool. Thanks for joining.
But anyway, he gave us $5 a month, so we appreciate it. So Patreon's killing it. Subscribe on YouTube, all that stuff.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah. iTunes, tell your friends. Thanks again. We really appreciate you listening. Hopefully you enjoy this talk with Mayor Mattie as much as we did. So
enjoy.
Good evening from Fort Worth, Texas. It's slow here in the heat. We're down Main Street.
Hello, welcome. It is Heim Time.
Heim Time.
Thank you for listening to another incredible, hopefully, episode of your favorite social media / Britney Spears / barbecue adjacent podcast. Today we have a very special guest, somebody we're really excited about. We're where do I begin? Youngest mayor of Fort Worth, doing an incredible job so far. I know it's like early, but I feel like I confidently I can say that. But we really appreciate Mayor Mattie Parker.
Woo! Thank you both for having me. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you for coming.
This is awesome. Yeah, we reached out over Twitter, which you've said for a long time that I don't use Twitter for good, and so I just wanted to.
Ish. It's just,
it was a very nice tweet. It was just like, would you come on?
Okay,
so it was well behaved that
Straight
day.
to the point,
All there, yes.
Perfect.
So I just wanted that on the record that I do occasionally use Twitter for business purposes and other positive things. So we really appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much.
Very much
It
for
means a lot
having
to
me.
us.
Yes, thank you.
We're very excited.
And speaking of Twitter, at Mayor Mattie, Mattie on Twitter. And then I want to plug real quick. You have your own podcast,
I
Go
do.
Time.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about Go Time?
Well, it's probably why y'all started yours. You want to communicate with people differently. It's hard to do it in snippets on social media, talk about interesting people doing fantastic things in our city.
Mm-hmm.
I get really sick of the news sometimes. It's all negative.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I know in Fort Worth, because I was running for mayor, I met amazing people, ordinary people doing awesome stuff in our city. So that's why we started the podcast, was a way for me to reach out. And it also, importantly, talk about current events at City Hall that sometimes you don't want to read in a newsletter,
Right.
but you'll listen to it in 7 minutes in the car on the way to work or whatever.
Totally.
So that was why. And
That's
I
so
used
cool.
Go Time because I think that's what's going on in Fort Worth. There's
Yeah.
a lot of phenomenal things. We'll probably talk about your own business and how you started and how, as a city, we promote each other better.
Right.
So,
Well, what we've learned, Fort Worth really loves hard. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
if you've got something that you're passionate about, they're going to go and
Support
and
you.
support. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we found that. So that's really cool that you're promoting that and showing what Fort Worth does daily.
That's,
Heck yeah.
That's my hope. Yeah.
And we talked about it earlier, but Chauncey, our buddy,
Yeah.
Frank's.
yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
What an
Wonderful.
amazing individual.
Mhm.
That was a great interview.
He's great.
Yeah.
I thought that was great podcast, by
Thank
the way.
you very
And
much.
trust me, I'm an expert.
As you are, obviously.
Yeah. Chauncey's awesome though. He supported us for a long time.
yeah.
So, you talked about it a little bit. 2020 and lately, not maybe a great time to be a politician. A little
Yeah.
divisive, a little craziness, and then you have COVID and everything else, and then you go, I want to be the mayor. Why?
Oh, good question.
Why did you want to be the mayor? You've been in politics a little bit, but
Yeah.
making the jump to go for it.
Yeah, I was always behind the scenes. I didn't really have an opportunity to see myself in a role as an elected official because I liked being effective behind the scenes and helping people get things done. I do find it ironic a little bit. I thought this for years that we love to hate on politicians, but they're the necessity of our democracy.
Right.
Right? Elections, putting people forward. And so I feel really strongly that this is a time in my life. This is not forever. I'm doing this to serve my community in a role that I thought was pretty special. And I was able to watch someone who I love dearly and Betsy be mayor for 10 years and serve her city. And I thought this was the right time for me. And it wasn't expected, right? The door opened. I did not at all anticipate this. I was running a nonprofit and had really left the political realm to do that work. And
Wow.
when this opportunity presented itself, I decided to jump through it. And not every day is easy. We're kind of in an adjustment period as a family.
Mm-hmm.
I did an interview a few weeks ago with Margaret Hoover for the 19th News and their big virtual symposium. And she asked a little bit about that. We've got young kids. They're 5 and 10. Our oldest is 19. And they just went back to school 2 weeks ago, which is really helpful. And so I'm not going to pretend like we have it all together. I mean, the guys can tell you this morning, pick me up. I was like, we were late. We got to go to school. One of them wanted a hairbrush all the way to school. He's 5.
I feel better about myself.
No, like we are messy. And I think that's okay. I
Real
really
life.
do.
Yeah.
It's real life. So I wanted to be mayor to serve Fort Worth, to see us into this next generation of leadership. I'm 37. And when I found out I was going to be the youngest mayor serving a large city, I was frankly surprised. Got a lot of questions about age and capacity, ability to do the job. But look at y'all, right? You're running
Yeah.
a business, and there are so many people across this city alone, not to mention the country, that are younger than we are doing phenomenal things.
Right.
And I do think the age is a number. And if you have the right kind of wisdom and the old soul that I think I have to be able to recognize history and future at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And some days I wake up and go, what were you thinking?
Well, it was clearly meant to
Feel
be.
that, yeah.
There you go.
Because you got the role.
I know,
so-
here I am.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
You're the mayor now.
Yeah.
Crazy.
If it makes you feel any better, when we opened the food truck, I was 22.
Wow.
20,
I don't know. Is
Okay.
that seems young. Is that right?
23?
23, I think.
maybe.
I think I was 24.
And we had no idea what we were doing. So I
More
feel
money.
like you,
Yeah.
even though youngest mayor or whatever, I think you're further along than
You just
we
have to
were.
drown all that out, right?
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
just go for it,
Oh,
which is what
yeah.
y'all have done.
Yeah, and we get it a lot too because we like to grow. Like we're not a one place or a food
Right.
truck place, so we get that a lot. Like, are you guys sure you know what you're doing? It's like,
Right.
I kind of feel
Yeah,
like
we'll see.
we got it a
Yeah.
little bit. We'll see.
So
and
far,
if it
so
doesn't work
good.
out, then
And
we'll
you can always
figure it
write a
out.
book about what it's like to be married to your business partner.
There you
Yeah.
go.
There you go.
We get that a
I'm
lot.
sure y'all
a lot
got
of
good
questions.
stories.
Yes.
Have you ever thrown barbecue sauce at Travis?
Probably.
Maybe some pickles,
Pickles? Yeah.
Oh, that's really low. Pickles.
I don't know barbecue
especially
sauce.
pickles because I love pickles.
If you were throwing something, it was probably some sort of blunt object or some sort of something a little more serious than
A little more
barbecue
intense.
sauce.
Oh, man.
Sorry,
Yeah.
off script, guys.
No. We used to, like, especially when we opened Magnolia and the food truck. The food truck, especially, was just us. That was it. And
Yeah.
then Magnolia would be me in the kitchen, and then you up front managing everything. And I have a tendency to drive everyone crazy a little bit, and so I think she would be like, "Go in the smokehouse, get
I
out of
didn't know
here."
what you were gonna say.
Leave
Like,
all
what?
the people alone. I'll
Yeah,
handle
I'll,
them.
Yeah.
I'll stay in the front.
She's the people person. I like to cook and be in the back, and
That's
do
why we're a
that.
team,
Yeah,
babe.
that's
That's
why
right.
we're a team, and that's why I'll never be mayor.
Hey, never say never.
Hey, but I think we could talk about some things you'd want to accomplish.
Yeah.
How about
There
that?
you go.
I don't know if I should admit this, but we couldn't even vote. And I didn't realize this, but not because we have felonies, but we live in Westworth Village.
Oh, yeah.
So we weren't allowed.
We're
actually-
not the only
Yeah.
ones. That
I
got
was
confused.
really upset. I actually
you?
messaged Betsy's daughter and
Yeah.
was like, "Are you serious?
this
Like, I know
true?
that sounds so like dumb of me,
No.
but I was
I didn't know that
so
either.
upset because I just, it's like it's a privilege to vote, and I was like, I'm not to be bad, but I did not vote in the Westward Village
Yeah.
election.
So you're not the
yeah.
only ones. Yeah.
We were out of town for that because anyway,
Yeah, that's
a
what we're
completely
saying.
unrelated story, but our town of 8 blocks is like prevented us
know.
from
Voting.
I wish I had
so-
a fake ID, which is not good either. But
People are doing that. So you brought up Mayor Betsy Price, who was awesome and was mayor for a long
10
time.
years.
10 yeah.
years. You worked for her 5 years.
Just over that.
What
Wow.
did you learn from her unrelated to cycling? Because obviously we know.
Well, obviously I didn't learn 'cause I'm still terrible on a bicycle. But, this is one thing that's interesting about politics and being in the public eye or any kind of space, right? Is people love to put you in a box, make assumptions about you.
Yeah.
And people that know Betsy love her because her heart is so pure. Like she has people and, she wants to work on behalf of everyone and she's not perfect, but that's where her heart was all the time. And that's where she woke up every day to say, what can I do to make this city better for as many people as I can possibly? So I used to get kind of defensive about it. So it's funny for me to be in this role now. And so I try to just give people the benefit of the doubt, try to listen and understand that not everything is myopic the way you may see it or black and white from your seat on the couch on social media, you
no
know?
joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, behind the keyboard.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You couldn't have asked for a better cheerleader for fourth and some
Yeah.
of the highest growth years we've ever seen, where things were finally starting to emerge and be different and exciting. And you needed someone that was willing to do the job with a steady hand for that many years and make some tough decisions. And she definitely accomplished that for our city. So yeah,
She's great.
she is pretty
Shout out
fun.
Betsy.
That's so cool too, to be able to work under her and learn
Yeah.
all those,
Yeah.
all these very important things. And then, now you're getting to be in that seat. It's
Yeah,
just
public
nuts.
policy is a
It's
full
so cool.
contact sport, and I've done this for
Right.
just over 17 years in different levels of government. I've seen really good, I've seen really ugly.
Mhm.
And so how do you take all that into something that you want to accomplish as mayor?
Wow.
That's wild. We've talked about it a lot on with just business and with other guests that we've had, but social media criticism, things like that. So actually, we're friends with Mayor Johnson in Dallas, right?
Yeah.
Eric Johnson. I don't know why I couldn't think of his name. He's come into Mockingbird all the time. And he posted like a photo of his family the other day. And then one of the comments, and I probably shouldn't repeat this, but whatever. One of the comments was like, you're overweight because you can't control your eating habits or something.
Wow.
And I was like,
Addressed to him.
this is nothing related to, I think it was like a photo of his kids. So anyway, my point is, it's random and a lot of times hurtful and mean. And I think Betsy, had some criticism for some things, and anyone in your position does. Personally, how do you handle that? I mean, you kind of mentioned it a little bit, but how do you handle that criticism when you're like, okay, this is a initiative or something that I think is important, and then people are like, why don't you care about seagulls or something else?
Yeah.
Is that a question? I don't know.
It
if
is
that's
totally.
a
Well,
question.
I think first of all, and I'm not perfect at this, but you're not going to solve problems on social media.
Yeah.
You're not going to have a healthy debate typically, because people are going to be more interested in the one-off comment they can get most likes for or whatever.
Right.
So I try my best to block it out. And I have a wonderful staff member, Bethany, who tries to work on it. She probably tell him looking at her, internalizes it sometimes like, why are people so, inept or uneducated? If you just focus on the greater good and recognize the majority of people appreciate what you're doing, they recognize the sacrifice. They will not always agree with you, but they're there for you, right? I'm in your corner. And one thing I love to do is this is a good topic for y'all. I love to hear what your thoughts are. Is I kicked the anthill the first few weeks of office, and I just brought up, should we consider changing the name of White Settlement Road?
Oh, right. And we're on White
You're
Settlement.
on White. So this is your business. You'll be a business that
we
get
have a lot
contacted.
of questions
I bet
about
you do.
that.
I bet you do. Yeah. And so, and it's just it's a healthy discussion, right?
is.
As a community.
Yeah.
We've got so many hilarious emails.
I bet.
Some of them really mean. And so I decided I'm going to pick up the phone and call the most creative writers of some of these emails
I
and
love
comments.
it.
And people were so off, like, you called me. I was like,
Yeah.
well, yeah, your email was mean. I had to call you. And usually people come off their cliff a little bit. They recognize that you're not coming at this from this evil standpoint. So that's related to social media to me, is trying to drown that out as much as possible. My grandmother used to say, lived in a small town, so she's referred to it as 281, which was a more major road through Hico. She said, unless you want that on a billboard on 281, I wouldn't say it. And I think we've kind of gotten away from that because it's so easy to just click or post or say something ugly.
Right.
And what for? Would you say that to someone's face? And if you did, I wouldn't be friends with you anyway.
Exactly.
So, I'm attempting to do that. And I still have, again, I have young kids at home. Got to be careful because they're watching every single move I make.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Dude, that's true.
We have
Speaking
the
of
8-month-old, but we're not today.
Oh, she's watching.
Yeah.
Speaking of the White Settlement Road, we had some, I guess they're like journalists, Star Chef out of Brooklyn came and did some photos.
New
and
York.
cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. They do a magazine quarterly, but they were blown away that the road
Sent them the
was
address.
called White
They were like,
Settlement.
I know.
And
What?
and then that first article came out about wanting to change it. I emailed it to them and I was like, "Hey, look, we're like we may be doing this just to let you know," because they were like, "What?" But anyway,
I get the history of whatever. Who cares? Somebody said they tried to name it Ben Hogan Road or something.
Oh, yeah.
People have talked about all kinds of things, and we're going to have that debate. But my point was like, man, you kick an anthill. You get lots of responses
it starts
about
going
stuff.
for sure.
I had on my first draft of notes. Actually, I thought it would be a funny game. I didn't know if Bethany would allow it, but of list of names to change White Settlement
Send
Road
them to Bethany. She loves to collect them.
I felt I had a few like good ones, but then I felt like the best was maybe Rainbow Road, like Mario Kart. That's a good one.
Oh,
yeah.
People love Mario Kart.
Okay, keep that one.
Yeah, keep everybody happy, right?
Yeah.
Nostalgia is always
Who
good.
hates rainbows? So, no, what a weird. I mean that's a perfect example of like, you're getting like intense, probably not death threats, but serious emails about this thing, and you're like, I'm just trying.
Have a conversation.
It's like making a
But here's
breakfast
the
sandwich.
reason why I like the conversation, and this is true about. Let's take it out of that one microcosm. and this is in my small experience now, talking to business owners like yourselves, you're competing really on an international stage now, especially in food. The way it has evolved, and social media and media in general is such a big part of your business to make it grow. And you do have an opportunity to have at least a national presence. And so whatever we can do to help serve you to be successful and have that ability, we should be doing that, no matter what it is. And I think city infrastructure and the basics of what we provide need to be there for you so that you can kill it in business. And think about, so that people in Brooklyn, when they come visit Fort Worth, because this is what we're working on. We want to be a visitor destination. They want to come see Heim. Yeah. Right. Let's not make your jobs more difficult. So
I'm down. Yeah. Down for that.
Well, if you want to start talking about permitting, sorry. I think, everything I've seen or heard, I love your philosophy and, what's going. And the big thing I got out of the campaign and all of that was nonpartisan. I want solutions that help everybody in every part of Fort Worth and all that. To me, that seems very, not to bring up Donald Trump and those kind of people, but everything else seems going more partisan. I feel like as politics, we have to be more to the left or more to the right, because then, that, and then you took the opposite approach and really were like, look, I'm here for everybody. Why did you feel like that was such a big deal and important thing?
Because I think that's how public policy gets made, honestly. And I've seen it happen over and over again. You don't ever get anything done if there's not compromise. And I know that's true with the current council that we have. We come from very diverse perspectives. And it's my job as mayor is to listen. We are not always going to agree. We may not always be a 9-0 vote or an 11-0 vote when we have redistricting. But we are stronger together. And we're already starting to form those bonds or relationships on council to say, look, I know you're going to vote this way or not going to like this. Let's talk through this and try to get through it. Because 95% of the stuff that happens at City Hall, at least, has nothing to do with partisan politics. The other thing that can be really difficult, especially when we're talking about things that are polarizing, is it's really easy to listen to the small majority that's really loud. I fall victim to that a lot. Like y'all might have one customer that comes in and rips on you. And you're like, oh man, we really do suck. Well, no, you don't. 99% of the people that came in that day were happy.
Right. Yeah.
And so let's do more of that. And I'll be honest, I don't even think it makes you more successful. Yeah. Meaning climbing the political ladder or getting more media clicks, because I'm not willing to go to one extreme or the other, because I don't think it helps me do my job on a Tuesday and get things done. So time will tell what that looks like. That doesn't mean I don't have political quote unquote beliefs or people I'm going to support that might belong to a Democratic Party or Republican Party. But when it comes to City Hall business, it will be nonpartisan. Yeah. And I'll do my very best to listen, and I'll still have my own perspective about that, but it'll be informed by the people I'm talking to in the city.
I think that's great.
That's a great point.
There's a lot of people that, are in Fort Worth, and they need to hear stuff like that. It needs to be more everyone is on a team instead of you're on that side, I'm on this side. Well, it's just the world now.
Yeah, it is the world.
I know, but let's try and at least, Rainbow Road it.
Rainbow Road,
man. That might be the title, Paul. Write that down.
Rainbow Road.
I didn't even think about that too, but that is a great point of it would be so much easier probably to just be super far this way or super far this way. And
you kind of put yourself in a box.
The support of all the other idiots that feel the same way. And I'm talking about both sides. So don't
absolutely.
Get mad at me. We've had a very we don't talk about politics on here, and then we're like, wait, we're having the mayor on.
I know. Here you go.
Anyway, it's awesome.
I like it.
Yeah, I love it. How are we on time?
Good.
Bethany hasn't given us the eye yet, so
she's got thumbs up. We're good.
I'm sure we'll talk more politics, but I just wanted to say shout out to PBR's doing their deal here. That's
so
awesome.
Exciting.
I know. Very cool.
Really World cool. Finals in May.
Yep,
I think
May 2022.
How does that stuff work? Is there, any effort being made to really try to push that entertainment type of events? Because now we have Dickies Arena.
Yeah.
We have all, the convention center. I know still does a bunch of stuff. How involved are you with that? And
very. So Visit Fort Worth and the Fort Worth Sports Commission deserve the credit for this possibility. and then putting us in a room to say, what does it take politically to push us over the finish line?
Yeah.
And this is one of the first things I got to work on, which was pretty exciting. Having events like this in Fort Worth truly put us on the map.
Yeah.
In a really special way.
Yeah.
And importantly, the visitor tourism that happens when you bring events like that into Fort Worth, they stay multiple nights, they eat in your restaurants, they shop in your retail shops. So
we see a difference. Big
do
time.
you?
yeah,
That's right. And we
sure.
have to respect that and understand the value. Dickies is a huge value add to the city. We always knew it would be. So emerging from COVID stronger because of Dickies is there. And I just think it's the beginning. There's been a lot of conversation for years about what we did or didn't have in a sports tourism category in Fort Worth. And do we need our own professional sports team? I don't know, right? I can't tell you if we're going to have a competitor for Dallas Cowboys. Probably not. We've got the Texas Rangers right down the road. But there are a lot of other sports and other ways to put Fort Worth, in some ways, even more notable than just being one of the many. So I'm excited about that for our city and something I'll be a huge supporter of in the coming years.
This episode is brought to you by Tres Agaves Tequila, 100% USDA certified organic tequila.
Delicious tequila, some of our favorite. They got the añejo, they got the blanco, they got the reposado. Tequila made in tequila, slow roasted for approximately 20 hours, almost like delicious brisket, you may say. Tres Agaves, awesome stuff. Thanks for sponsoring Heim Time Podcast. You might want to check out their organic margarita mix. They also have a strawberry margarita mix. No high fructose corn syrup if you're trying to watch the weight like myself. Maybe just a little ranch water, just some tequila over ice. Delicious stuff. Like Emma said, 100% certified organic. Awesome tequila. Thank you, Tres Agaves. Drink some responsibly.
I've got to say something too, because I saw the photos and your boots were really awesome.
City boots. So Lizzie, is that
Shout out.
You know who she is?
No.
Okay, you have to have her come on and talk about her company, City Boots. It's CITY Boots. She has a great Insta page you can follow. She's grown tremendously even in the middle of COVID. Woman-owned business, started it herself, designs the boots. They're beautiful.
Okay.
You put them on the first time and they fit like a glove. I cannot say enough good things about Lizzie. So have her come on.
My eye,
yeah, and she's a Fort Worth business. We want to support her. So yeah, they're green.
City
she has
boots.
awesome stuff.
Yeah, they're green. I was like, oh.
Yeah, Travis, hint,
Yeah.
birthday, Christmas, here you go.
You got it
yeah.
bad.
Oh, God. Yeah, so her birthday is December 21st. Our beautiful 8-month-old daughter, 8 months old?
Yeah.
December 22nd. Your mom the 27th, my mom the 29th. And then Christmas. So I'm broke every January.
You really are.
It's really
terrible.
fun.
Absolutely.
It's a nightmare. So shout out Bob Jameson and
Yes.
Yeah, we
Mitch.
love Visit Fort Worth.
Yeah, they're awesome.
We've done several trips with them. We've done like DC.
Yeah.
We've gone there 3 times or something.
Yeah.
Good. Well, maybe I hope we go back to South by Southwest in Austin when they have it
yeah.
again.
Yeah, yeah,
and y'all
yeah.
need to go down there with us. It's a lot of fun. They're doing a phenomenal job.
Yeah. They're great.
Yeah.
And
They're
then
really great promoters of the city.
who's a music guy?
Tom Martins.
Tom is awesome.
Can't we all be cool like Tom?
I know.
Tom is so cool.
He is. He's really cool.
Yeah, so we did the DC. We did a big event where 6 in the city, 6 different
in the
barbecue
city, yeah.
joints, and we won it both years. They invited us, so no big
Very
deal.
cool.
But yeah, that's awesome. We love stuff. I would love to have some sort of sports team. I'm sure like Jerry Jones would veto that probably.
Yeah,
but,
well, we had Panther City Lacrosse Club,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is exciting. So things are moving that direction. We're working on a bigger soccer presence here in the city.
So that would be fun.
yeah, and soccer's like blowing up too.
But and then they also had the gymnastics stuff at
Right.
Dickies, which was
NCAA, and they're going to come
huge.
back around this year. So
I know everybody was like posting from there, and I was like, "What? This is so cool!"
Yeah, people kept tagging Simone Biles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you
like,
don't
hey, come
realize,
into Heim
I'm like,
Barbecue.
what?
we just didn't have that before.
Yeah.
You know,
Dickies is really cool though. Really awesome.
agreed.
I agree. What? Yeah, we saw we saw Black Keys there before.
Yeah, and I saw
uh,
King George. You didn't get to go. That was
Yeah.
girls'
Strait.
night.
uninvited.
They've got a
Okay,
few great
girls'
ones coming
night.
up soon. They've
Yeah.
got Hall & Oates is coming. I'm going to go to that one.
yeah.
Isn't that
Hall &
great?
Oates.
I know. Alabama, why not?
That would
I
be
guess
fun.
Alabama. So there's some good ones coming.
I love it.
Nice to look forward to things.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're as much as we don't like to talk about restaurants and barbecue, people want us to. So what are some of your favorite Fort Worth restaurants?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
And not like the best, just like what are your
Some
favorites?
of my favorites, Clay Pigeon,
Delicious.
Pacific Table are
Yes.
two really good favorites. Think about that. The original is
Yeah.
good stuff.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Shout out Butch, my buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good margs.
Absolutely.
Lighter fluid marks. you mean?
Yeah.
I feel like we eat at Campese's a lot because we can walk from our house. So we kind
Yeah.
of go over there and grab easy pizza for kids.
Mhm.
I'm a fan of Zoli's. Have y'all been
Yes.
there yet?
Oh, yeah.
As
Absolutely.
your daughter gets older, it's pretty great. They have a playscape, let them run around.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of any place where your kids can be loud and
Same.
crazy and not get in trouble.
We've talked about
We're
this.
learning that
Need
now.
more places.
We've talked about this.
Yeah, I think there's Attico's a cool spot. Just have a drink and a top up, from up there. The view is beautiful.
Haven't been there yet.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
it's a good spot. I think it's really special how many restaurants are expanding and opportunities for restaurateurs in the city.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, those are all my faves too.
Yeah. Zoli's we've talked about them on here because of their social media, but
Yeah.
our friend Jay owns it, and then our friend Jeff is like their chief culinary officer. So there's a
Okay.
Heim time pizza at Zoli's.
Yes.
You'll have to try it.
Okay.
It's like a
Spicy.
supreme. Yeah, it's got
Yeah.
All the good stuff.
everything
Jalapeno.
on
Okay,
it.
we will try it.
Yes.
Probably not for kids. It is a little spicy, but it's delicious.
Okay.
Yeah, that's been a big thing. Like we talked about this off air, but like how your perspective changes, I think, as you grow in general. And with us, as barbecue, and this is a thing that I don't want to get on a rant here, but Fort Worth has always had good barbecue. It's like recently that craft barbecue and stuff like us is getting more mainstream, and now there's like whatever, and that's the coolest place is like you stand in line for 3 hours and it's outside and there's porta potties and it's like whatever. And we were like, okay, we want to have that level of really good barbecue sides and all that stuff, that atmosphere that started like when we were doing pop-ups and having parties at our house. But what about the people with 3 children? What about the people that work for a living and have 30 minutes or an hour? So it really makes a big difference, I think. And that's completely unrelated to you. So I'll stop talking. But
No, it's not. I think y'all recognize the need. I totally get it. Absolutely.
so now it's like our new restaurants, like shout out City of Burleson. We're opening out there, and
I didn't know that. That's huge.
Yeah.
it's very
Congrats.
exciting. Yeah. We've a public-private partnership with the City of Burleson that we're very happy about. So we're going to be right next to their city hall. They have a huge like park plaza area for kids to run around. So we're trying to be very mindful of that.
Families.
Yeah. And like with us now, if our restaurants were like, let's go out to eat. If we have our daughter with us, then it's like, okay, Moana's going to be playing. We'll have to play Moana. So she's either maybe going to be screaming or you're going to hear Moana really loud if you're sitting next to us.
Yeah.
So we want to go someplace where we're kind of off in the corner.
I know.
No one cares. But
Well, we call our youngest Honey Badger for a reason. So
It's
if you take
funny.
him to a public place, you're going to notice him pretty quickly. Yeah. So we understand.
That's funny. So I have a question about COVID-19, which I'm sure you absolutely love hearing about. How's it impacted the local government, and what issues are you dealing with in the everyday ordinary citizen? What that an ordinary citizen wouldn't see every single day, but what are you having to deal with to make it better?
Well, first of all, anybody that pretends like they're an expert, they're not,
Right.
unless you are a physician or an
Right.
infectious disease specialist, and you try to listen as best you can. The vitriol is really troubling to
Yeah.
me about what you choose to do. We do know that getting a vaccine keeps you from being seriously hospitalized.
Yes.
Right. So that's been something that I prioritize. It's not about mandates. It's about talk to your doctor, talk to people
Right.
around you that you can trust.
Health.
That's number one. Yeah. One thing I know we were going to have to do with the city is we, years ago before this COVID pandemic started, a lot of our public health responsibility was given to the Tarrant County, and that's common across the state of Texas. And while I think that's been a good partnership, and I'm not saying we should change it completely, I do think that the city gets looked to for solutions or to be a leader. And so are we prepared enough? Question. What do we learn from this terrible experience of COVID-19 and how to respond into the future, working with our hospital districts, working with our businesses? those are all considerations I think we need to make. And we have wonderful academic models here in Tarrant County. UNTL Science Center is really notable in public health, partnering with them to be better. The second piece is our businesses cannot be shut down again. Period.
Agreed.
Amen.
On
And
board.
so we must learn to live through whether it's this pandemic or anything else and keep you guys open
Yeah.
in whatever way that is. And I've said this to numerous people. You'll shop in Fort Worth right now and somebody might have a sign on their door that says, please wear a mask. If they're asking you to, they're a small business owner and they have held on for the last 2 years, put a mask on if they ask you
Seriously,
to.
Yeah.
Or if their employees have masks on because that's what they've asked, don't hassle them. If
Get
they're
that.
mask free and you're comfortable, go in and enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't understand why we're putting business owners in this difficult position, because if they have survived some really difficult months. And I don't have to tell you all that.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a priority for me. And I do think from a public policy perspective, we can help with that. I don't think you're going to see a statewide shutdown again currently, but I'm just saying if that were to ever start to trend that way, how opposed I would be.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot. I mean, it was a lot. It put the business owners in a difficult position for sure. But
And you were telling me earlier that y'all didn't furlough any employees.
No.
That's
Yeah.
It was
amazing.
a huge goal of ours. We even sold like t-shirts online that said family sticks together, and all that went to our employees just because, we understand we have a family now and we get it. And so we were able to hang on to all of our employees, which was awesome.
Yeah, and you had you had a lot of people, especially like the front of house, that some people quit just because they didn't feel comfortable even.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I don't want to say specifically, but we have some people with compromised immune systems and issues that work for us, and it's not like that's the best scenario to be in, working with the public, but. That was a big deal for us. I mean, we've talked about it publicly before. We were losing $20,000 a week at the start, like 2020 at the start of the pandemic. And a lot of that was, what do? We got to
You're
like,
hemorrhaging.
Right.
we don't know if this is going to go away, or we don't know like if what to do. And then we even closed, our restaurants before, the city of Fort Worth and everybody else, said whatever, there was a shutdown, and then 50%, but we shut down just because we were like, we have no idea what the heck is going on. And it's crazy. I appreciate your perspective with that, because I think, and I'm not naming any names, but I think it was easy probably for politicians to just be like, here you go. And then the ones that are faced with actually like enforcing those issues are the people that are also like, please come support us. Please give us your money. But also like people were like vitriol, used anger, and it was very political on one side and or on both sides. And that was the irony of that we've talked about on this podcast before, but it's so political. And then you had at the start of the pandemic, people like fighting, wanting to, like, we've had plenty of stories we could say, but like yelling at our 18-year-old employees of like, I don't want to wear masks or that.
Yeah.
And then you have the flip side of it of people yelling at our 18-year-old employees of like, I am wearing a mask. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the opposite. So, and in the meantime, we're like, have you tried our collard greens?
They're really delicious. Yes.
Like, we just want to keep things going.
I
And, we got PPP money and stuff, and that helped out, big time. And so it's been a weird time, but I appreciate that. And that's the strangest part is like, we talk to our employees about, here are facts, of vaccination and why, we should do this and that. And then, you talk to, with some of our close friends that aren't, into it and all that. And, my perspective is like, hey, here's a, virologist, and this is some, and then it's like, well, this one guy on Twitter said that it gives you a 6 toe if you take it. And you're like, we can't have a discussion.
No.
So
We're
it's,
all humans trying to navigate a very uncertain time period.
Right.
I know
Yeah.
for sure. It's
But
not easy.
So how do you handle your stress with that? And
Yeah.
being the mayor and
Well, I think
You
my
do
family,
yoga?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I work out every day.
Yeah,
That's a priority
good.
for me, just to kind of clear my head. I think being with my family, that's still
Yeah.
a priority. Obviously, the way we bookend the days has to look different for me because I'm a mom and a wife, and keeping our household on schedule is not always easy.
Yeah.
I have really great friends too that are in my circle that constantly, make sure we're all checking in on each other, but just like we would in any job, just self-care is important.
Oh, yeah.
And I do turn all the notifications off on my phone.
Smart.
Like for the social media.
Smart.
So then Bethany has to listen to everybody yell. Sorry, Bethany.
She's the real champ.
She is a real champ. I know.
I deleted my Facebook app from my phone. And
That's
I really,
brilliant.
Yeah, that's smart.
I try to stay away from that. But then the problem is Emma's, handles all of our social media minus Twitter. So we've multiple times, like, I want to delete my Facebook, but then we kind of have to have it for the business.
Like we said, it's a necessary evil sometimes.
Yeah.
So
It is.
I don't know if you have free time, but if in your free time, what? Okay. Bethany's the clocking us. What do you like to do in your free time?
So we spend a lot of time, I was saying baseball, Little League. I was saying we drive past the restaurant almost every day for watching kids sports, hang out with friends, go out to dinner with friends, that sort of thing here in the city. If I can hit the trail and run, I will whenever I can as possible. Just like anybody else, honestly, exploring the city. One thing I love to do, and I haven't really had time to recently, is pick a museum and explore. Even if I've been there 10 times, still go back and do that. Concerts are a big thing for my husband and I. We go to live music as much as possible.
Fun.
So having that come back to the city is a big deal for us. Travel is still something we prioritize. And so just like everybody else, this is a cool city. There's a lot of things happening, and I discover something new every day. I'm sure y'all do too, about Fort Worth.
And it's so cool. Like, I'm so happy.
Yeah, there's so
Fort
many
Worth.
areas of the city too that are happening. I mean, sure, like y'all are near the River District. That's not something you ever considered, I'm sure, when you first started your business over on Magnolia. So,
nope.
Yeah.
No, I mean, growing up, it was all like trailer homes.
At
and
first,
stuff,
we were like, should we have opened here?
We were a little early.
But then it's good. It's
now,
really good.
across the street, there's a bunch of stuff. And then there's been a bunch of apartments and things going in.
You're going to look like geniuses, don't you worry.
That was supposed to start construction 2 years ago, but they finally got it going.
It's like booming now.
Yeah.
Do you like to cook at your house? We always like to ask that. No?
I can cook just fine. I'm spoiled. My mom lives with us during the week, so she kind of helps keep the world going round and round.
And shout out to the moms.
Yeah. But I cooked a lot in COVID because we were home. Right. I realized this is hard.
Yeah.
And I'm not.
Takes your mind off of stuff too.
I know, it totally does. It totally does.
I feel like cleaning at that, or like eating at the house, cooking, it's like, you do everything and then you're like, now I just have to clean all this crap,
Yeah.
At least like at the restaurant, we'll just throw it in our giant dishwasher.
And you just don't worry about it
on
high heat. Exactly.
I was going to say briefly, I grew up, was born at Harris Methodist. So I grew up in Fort Worth. I feel very Fort Worth. We live like a mile away from where I grew up, which is probably sad in some degree. But,
no, it's cool.
I love traveling and going places and all that. And then you say Fort Worth, and traditionally it's like, do you guys have a stoplight there, and like you ride your horse to school? And to your point, it's like some of the best museums in the country and the world in Fort Worth and all this other stuff. So
I think we're emerging from that though. I know that for a long time, the measurement was people think we're 45th largest city or something like that based on their misconception about our city. And the more we grow, and opportunity for business relocation and expansion, and our creative class to grow, and of course our restaurant and foodie stuff, that's all happening, and we'll come into our own. And I think the healthy thing for us, we can watch a lot of other big cities that grew really rapidly and maybe didn't learn, as quickly as they needed to, or have the infrastructure in place.
Right.
So I feel like I have a responsibility, because if you continue to grow like we do, there's some basics you got to have in place to take care of your people: affordable housing, public transportation, infrastructure, all those things come together. And those are absolutely at the forefront of the decisions we make at City Hall. Right. So a real huge advantage for us, which is something I know that Fort Worth is going to take advantage of. And because we're growing in all different parts of the city, that small town vibe that we all love so much, I think we maintain it, because you're always going to have these distinct communities you decide to live in.
Right.
And I think even as we get, over 1 million people, you're still going to feel like a smaller town, which is pretty special.
Yeah.
That's a hope I have, at least. Yeah. for sure.
awesome.
I agree. We'll finish with the listener question real quick. We try to do listener questions every week.
Good.
This is from Betsy P in Fort Worth. Shout out Betsy. Thank you for listening. She asked, have you learned to spell no yet?
Inside joke.
Yeah,
Some sort of inside joke.
Tell Betsy P she took the Staples button that said no that we set on her desk. It was like a beeper. And so I said, I could have used that. I think I'm doing pretty well.
Okay.
I really am, because you can say yes to everything and then have no direction. And so the real truth will become as we kind of focus on initiatives that can kind of be spearheaded from City Hall, but not be housed in City Hall, if that makes sense, partnering where we can in the community. But my kids do help me say no, because I just can't do it all at once. That's for true.
And Betsy historically had an issue saying no, right?
She did.
I could see that.
But she's a people pleaser.
She
She's a
is.
very nice,
she's
yeah.
So
And our
nice.
secret weapon at City Hall is Beth, who is our scheduler. I'm her 4th mayor to schedule for.
Oh, wow.
She literally knows where all the bodies are buried. And she also knows if your event is fun or not, or if it's worth going to. And so she'll tell you, look her little notes on here. And I mean, honestly, back to this conversation about balancing and how y'all do too with family is, you kind of have to look at a week and say, can you handle this?
Right.
Like, is this work for your family?
Right.
And so I'm trying to do that as best as I can.
Oh, well, then that just makes me really thankful that you came on even more, because I know that you do have just a crazy life
This is so
going,
fun.
This is
what
hopefully
it's
good.
about, honestly, is promoting the cool things that are happening in the city. So now I'm hungry for barbecue.
Right. Well, we
Let's
know
do
a
it.
couple places.
We're open for breakfast now.
I heard.
Yes, we have the best biscuits in town.
And they're not grants.
And they're
apparently.
not grants.
Oh, gosh.
Love it.
The fights that start.
Thank you, Mayor
Yes,
Parker. We really
thank you
appreciate
very
it, your
much.
time. It means a lot to us, and we're really glad you're the mayor.
Thank you. I
think,
appreciate that.
as a lifelong Fort Worthian, that it's amazing seeing the growth we've had, like the last couple of decades especially, and then everything we have planned for the future. And it's awesome. I just love hearing your perspective on everything.
Well,
So
y'all are a big part of that history and future, honestly.
thank
So lots of
you.
cool things to come.
hopefully
Thank
people
you.
keep eating barbecue.
Yeah.
And
All roads lead to barbecue,
will.
right?
Yeah.
I think they do.
awesome.
Rainbow Road.
Yes.
Thank you so
Rainbow Road.
much. Yeah.
Thank
Rainbow
you.
Road.
Thanks. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
We're down.